Hello and welcome to Euro Football Daily, where today we've listed 10 players who were sacked by their clubs. 10. Nicholas Anelka. Sour-faced Frenchman Nicholas Anelka had so much talent when he was young, joining Arsenal for £500,000 at the tender age of 17. By 2013, Anelka was at West Bromwich Albion, the 11th club of his career. After a month and a half, the marriage was already on the rocks as the Frenchman walked out of training, though it later emerged that Anelka had gone on compassionate leave as his agent died. But in December, after scoring his first 2 goals for the club, Anelka performed a gesture called the Canel, commonly considered an inverted Nazi salute. The striker claimed he'd merely done it to support his friend, the comedian De Doyne, who had been frequently accused of anti-Semitism. Anelka was fined £80,000, banned and then sacked. Number 9. Dani Osvaldo. He may look like Johnny Depp, but Dani Osvaldo is certainly less popular than his famous lookalike. Southampton paid a club record €15 million for the striker back in 2013, reuniting the Italian with his coach at Espanyol, Mauricio Pochettino. But Osvaldo started a fight with Jose Fonte in training and was suspended before being sent out on loan. The move to Inter ended when he repeatedly skipped training, and after Southampton finally sacked him, he joined Porto. 6 months later, the Portuguese wanted rid of Osvaldo and he rejoined Boca Juniors, who terminated his contract when he was caught smoking in the showers. And now Osvaldo seems to have had his fill of football, as in 2016, Eboue tried to sign him, only to be told that he had retired to focus on his music career. 8. Eboue. Former Arsenal maniac Emmanuel Eboue was your standard Gunners fullback, motoring up and down the wing with zero regard for defensive positioning. But after 4 years away from the Premier League with Galatasaray, relegation threatened Sunderland brought him back to England in January. The Ivorian joined on a short-term loan deal, but within a month was handed a 1-year ban from all footballing activity by FIFA. It turned out that the defender owed a large sum of money to a former agent and, despite numerous warnings, had never paid up. Sunderland, unsurprisingly, did not stick by their new acquisition, terminating his contract just 22 days after he'd signed it. He spent the rest of the season unattached, but looks set to join Indian side Kolkata in 2016. 7. The Leicester Thailand Trio. 2016 was a great year for Leicester, but 2015 was much more of a mixed bag. The club won their relegation battle under Nigel Pearson, but the club's post-season trip to Thailand was marred by disgusting behaviour from 3 young players, including Pearson's son. Footage emerged of James Pearson, Tom Hopper and Adam Smith taking part in an orgy with several Thai prostitutes, during which the players mocked the women and racially abused them. The video was met with outrage among fans and the club immediately sacked the men. Nigel Pearson followed his son out the door, but just 2 months later, another racism row and goal for the club as Jamie Vardy was filmed abusing a Japanese man in a casino. 6. Romario. Once a star striker for Barcelona and Brazil, now the federal senator of Rio de Janeiro, Romario has had an interesting career to say the least. The man of 1,000 goals won 4 league titles with Barcelona and PSV, as well as the World Cup and 2 Copa Americas with the Seleção. But Romario's story is littered with tales of bad behaviour, from pissing off a balcony during the Youth World Cup to befriending drug traffickers, and in 2007 a stint as player-manager of Vasco da Gama ended in scandal too when Romario tested positive for a drug called finasteride. Romario claimed he was using the substance, also known as Propecia, as an anti-baldness treatment, but as it has often been used to mass steroid abuse, a ban was imposed and the forward chose to retire. 5. Robbie Rogers. American fullback Robbie Rogers left MLS club Columbus Crew to join Leeds United back in January 2012, but struggled with injuries in his first few months and was transfer listed in the summer as the club looked to raise funds for new acquisitions. A buyer couldn't be found, and after a loan to Stevenage, Rogers was released by Leeds in January 2013, and a month on, he made the shock announcement that he was retiring from both club and international football, and that he was gay. However, when the player returned to his homeland, LA Galaxy coaxed him back into the game, and Rogers became the first openly gay man to play in a professional American sports league. He won the MLS Cup with Galaxy back in 2014. Number 4. Sergi Guardiola. No relation to Pep, Sergi Guardiola was signed up by Barcelona in 2015 and assigned to the club's B team after impressing on trial. The forward had left lower league side Alcorcon and was delighted to get the chance to impress at the Spanish Giants. However, the press quickly discovered Guardiola's Twitter account and found posts in which he described himself as a Real Madrid fan and called a fellow user a Catalan bitch. Barca were not best pleased with the news and immediately cancelled their contract offer. Guardiola was a Barcelona player for mere hours. He joined Granada's B side a few weeks later, where he's since scored 8 in 19 appearances. 3. Hatem Ben Arfa. Once one of the most exciting attacking talents in Europe, Hatem Ben Arfa stagnated when he joined Newcastle at 23, scoring fewer goals every season until the Magpies were forced to send the Frenchman on loan to Hull City. The move was meant to last a season, but in December Ben Arfa went missing, with Hull boss Steve Bruce revealing they had no idea where the player was. It turned out Ben Arfa had left the country, and Newcastle cancelled his contract immediately. But the winger had the last laugh as he joined Nice on a year-long loan, scoring 17 and assisting 6 in just 34 League One games. Nice finished 4th, and Ben Arfa left for PSG in 2016, finally getting the move he claimed he always deserved. 2. Adrian Mutu. How do you celebrate a €23 million move to Chelsea? Well, if you're Romanian attacker Adrian Mutu, you go on a massive coke binge and eventually get yourself ditched by your brand new club. Mutu was fresh off an 18-goal season with Italian outfit Parma, and Claudio Ranieri signed him up along with Hernan Crespo, Claude Makelele and others in a splurge which spiraled up to around $150 million. But after a year, Mutu failed a drugs test and was banned for 7 months. Chelsea fired Mutu, claiming he'd breached his contract, and sued him in a court case which ran for 10 years. The Romanian was eventually ordered to pay his former club a whopping €17 million, pretty pricey for a cheeky sniff. Number 1. Visscher. Disappointed? Well, you won't be for long. No one may have heard of the former Aberdeen megastar Geoffrey de Visscher, but the Dutchman lost his job with FC Emmen in truly outstanding fashion back in 2012. The player had been on a night out in November when police found his car by the side of the road, and as they approached they realised the drunk de Visscher was squatting next to it, taking a public shit. Presumably, reluctantly, they approached the player, arresting him on suspicion of drunk driving. De Visscher claimed a friend had been driving, but there was no sign of another passenger, and the Dutchman couldn't remember the name of his supposed mate. De Visscher was fined and Emmen released him, understandably, though to this day the midfielder claims it was a lack of playing opportunities which led to his departure and not his roadside shit show. So that was our top 10 sackings. Have we missed any stinkers? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and need to catch up on the international break, why don't you check out our Euro Roundup by clicking here. And as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.